Good morning, friends. Good morning, fans and haters and loyal audience and all alike. Today is about a subject that surfaced yesterday in the media. I read about it this morning. That Joe Biden is criticizing Trump of a statement that he made about the Third Reich or Third Reich being like united and so on and so forth. But really, Joby didn't do a good job. I will do a good job here. I will explain to you exactly why Trump is saying what he's saying about the Third Reich or, the Nazis and Hitlers and so on. Number one, he is catering or he's playing the game of being Aryan, quote unquote, Aryan thing, Anglo-Saxon, right? That he is playing that for your vote, because he knows among the white community there are those who think of Aryanism, who think of Anglo-Saxons, who think of few things, of the sort, and right, you get it, right? And then he thinks by doing what he's doing, deleting the tweet, he can attract your attention, he can attract your sympathy, things of the sort, right? Let me tell you something about Trump. Trump is as violent as it gets. Trump does not like this Anglo-Saxon thing, right? Or Third Reich thing. Why? He's a Putin. He married to Slavic women, right? Well, so to speak, right? Eastern European women. So if he had any sentiments, good or bad, towards you Anglo-Saxons, he would have married from there, right? 2 times. He wouldn't have been so much in the hand of Putin, like a puppy, right? Like a obedient, subservient dog, right? And he wouldn't give him so much, and right? If this guy Trump was alive during the time of Lenin and Stalin, you would definitely find him tormenting people and killing people in the gulags. That's all he is, folks. That's as violent as it gets. That's as much Anglo-Saxon hating as it gets, right? So don't buy what he's saying. Oh no! Don't fall for it, folks. That's what he's trying to do. It's a desperate attempt to get some votes among the whites, right? Because he thinks whites, are tired and sick of this. So, and when he talks of this like a Jewish thing, right? So when he talks about Third Reich, it also ties, subconsciously ties into hating Jews, right? So when he does that, right, he's like playing into your psyche, right? And I wouldn't think that he done it on his own. Oh, no. I think he's got some advice from somewhere, psychological or whatever it is, so that he's now hoping to have thrown some kind of iron in the fire, if you will. So that's what he is, right? Does this guy like Anglo-Saxon? I assure you he hates their guts, right? And let me go back and remind you of something. There are those of you whites who think greatly of the Third Reich, right? And Hitler and whatnot, those ugly bunch, right? Folks, the first fact, and if you love your country, you would disseminate the facts, right? The facts I'm telling you now. If you love your Anglo-Saxons, right, and everybody has something toward their own like country and race and national origin and so on. Italians love Italians, Arabs love Arabs, Chinese, they love China, and even though they're Americans, right? So it's okay to love Anglo-Saxons, and blacks do love blacks, and so on and so forth, right? So you would disseminate these facts, right? Let me tell you something about the Third Reich. The Third Reich is as anti. It was created. It's a sister movement of communism. They join at the head, like a vice, right? They join at the base. And they were created at the same time to crush Europe, and they did, right? Europe has never been so thoroughly destroyed before as they were in the last century. right? The last century, the two wars and communism and gulags and Nazism and they basically crushed that to the bone, right? Crushed Europe to the bone. That said, I'm going to tell you what Nazism is and what communism is. They are no different. There are parallel movements in the Muslim world, right? And you got yourself Muslim Brotherhood, and you got yourself ISIS, you got yourself Qaeda, you got yourself, right? And then you have that supposed quote-unquote Islamic revolution in Iran, right? I know for certain those movements are sister movements of communism and Nazism. And if you look at the Muslim Brotherhoods, they call themselves Muslim and keep talking religious and Islam and so on. It's all gibberish, right? About what they say is really meaningless, right? It turns out they have been made and they have been fabricated and manufactured, and Hamas too, right? Hamas too, right? Hamas, Hamas, oh, they hate that religion of Islam. That's my religion, right? And they spent their, they were created and they were financed and they are spinning their wheels day and night in order to destroy that religion. Yet they call themselves Muslim Brotherhood, they call themselves Hamas, they call themselves Qaeda, they call themselves ISIS and so on. We know that for a fact, folks. Their hatred toward that religion and those people, the Muslims, right, is to the core. Believe it or not, Nazism is no different. They hated those Germans to the core. Communism is no different. They hated humanity to the core, and so on and so forth. And it happened in South America and here and there. So don't be deceived by this guy, Trump, talking about Third Reich. Oh, folks. So that's what the Third Reich is, folks. That's what the Nazism is. It's really meant to really destroy the Germanic people, right? And it almost did, right? I mean, what's left of Germany, what Germany was before World War I, and the Germanic people, right? And afterwards, they're shadow of what they were, right? That's what Nazism achieved. I assure you, if it wasn't for the Nazis, the Germans would not have lost the war against the communists, and they will have thoroughly defeated communism. The Germanic people were defeated because they were sabotaged from within by none other than Hitler and his cohorts and his minions, the Nazis, period. So when this guy tries to sell you Third Reich and so on, be careful what he's saying, folks. He's just throwing you some kind of a bait. He wants your vote, and then once, if he is back in the White House, he will do a job on you Anglo-Saxons. Oh, you will see. Well, from the way I see it now, you will not see. But if he does, you will come to believe what I am telling you. These facts here, right? You will come to believe them. So that's what it is. What is he willing to do? What is he going to do? Here are things he's going to do. This thing here, the United States as it existed, and it's not in a good shape now. I can tell you that. Will be taken out completely. The Constitution, the freedoms, it will be just like Lenin and Stalin taken over Russia, and then eventually the Soviet Union. No different whatsoever. It'll be bloody. Oh, it'll be bloody. Just like communism was bloody when they took over, and just like when Hitler took over, oh, it was bloody for Germans. Ask those old Germans, they know, right? They tell you. They accuse Germans of being Nazis. Oh, no, many of them weren't really. They were against this monster coming into power. Ask the Iranians. Oh, after this Khomeini came into power, oh, ask them, right? And so on and so on. And look at Hamas, right? The arm of the Mossad. Look what they've done, and look what happened to their people, right? Not their people, those poor people in Gaza. Look what they're doing to them, right? Or Syria, or here and there, and I can come here and talk like day and night. But United States is no different. If Putin goes back into the White House, look at Syria, look at Gaza, look at Iran after the revolution, look at Iraq, look at Somalia, look at Chechnya, look at Ukraine, look at the Soviet Union. Go back to the the last century, and see what communism that is the homestead and heart and soul of Trump did to Russia and the rest of the nations, right? Just think about it, folks. They're like murdering people right and left and so on and so forth. You will not have anything to do with the destiny and operation of the country that you're part of. You're no longer a citizen. Now you're an animal in the animal farm. That's all there is to it, right? So don't buy this guy and his Third Reich and so on and so forth. No. And Joby, please expose him to what he's trying to do. Don't try to say yes and no and criticize. That's what he's doing. He's trying to cater to those sentiments that are, Nazis, right? Nazis. I mean, if I was a German, Nazism would be my enemy, right? Why? Because it came and destroyed the country. That's all it did, right? And guess what? There's parallelism. Here's Trump. Here's Hitler. Here's Lenin. Here's Stalin. Here's Mao Zedong. Here's Ayatollah. Here's Saddam Hussein. Here's Assad of Syria. Here's the Houthis. Here's what's happening in Sudan now. You guys don't hear. There's like war going on, and it's all managed and operated and instigated and lit up from the outside, right? And the Sudanese people are just starving to death, right? And here and there and here and there. But if you don't like the idea of those Muslim nations being destroyed and killed in mass and their population murdered in mass, look at what's happening in Ukraine. They made it clear. That's Olivier, who's a well-known arm of Putin, said he is on record saying that he wants Berlin to be burned, right? Not too long ago. Go check it out, right? Check it out on UATV. They actually put it on UATV. He said he wants Berlin to be burned, right? So if you think they're accusing Ukraine of being Nazis, what do you think they're thinking of you, Germanics, huh? If they're doing what they're doing to Ukraine now, and they consider them as part of their own culture, of their own race, of their own country, of their own religion, and so on, what do you think they're going to do to you, Germanics? Or even English, or French, or Scandinavians? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. If Trump goes back to the White House, you can take these words to the bank and cash them. They're better than diamond, right? They're more real than pure diamond. Putin will roll and gather momentum and will roll by help from, of course, Trump, right? Will roll into all your European countries, especially those Germanics and Scandinavians and Anglo-Saxons. Oh, he will do a job on you, you poor you. You don't know what's coming your way. You better get ready. You better get ready. If Trump goes, and his chances of going back to the White House now is really near zero, right? But you never know. It's not really zero. I haven't had that feeling yet. So get ready. If he goes back to the White House, get ready. Oh, get ready. Oh, you NATO, you who have Baltic countries, you Poland, you Finland, you Sweden, you Denmark, your Denmark, your Netherlands, your Scotland, your England. Get ready, because they are coming. They are coming. You may think that after the failure of the Soviet Union, as I noticed that the prevalent atmosphere and feelings toward people is they're kicked back and relaxed as if democracy prevailed, and then it can't be more wrong, folks. These guys were just taking their time, right, to rebuild after their failure in the Soviet Union, 1991 was it, when it faltered, right? And then it disbanded supposedly, right? No, these guys were rebuilding for a new attack, for a new attack with new strategy, new attacks, new dynamics, new tactics, because the old style wasn't so successful. Now what they're trying to do is disable the West, in particular the United States. Once they sideline the United States, these guys, you guys are like that. Europe is that long table in front of Putin, and it's filled with nations and food. He's just gonna eat you, right? That's all. And there are forces here in the US, their vanguard, those communists, vanguard, the Putin and the Stalin and Lenin, is already in your countries. Where is it you don't see it? So now Joe Biden really is not the best president, right? But believe me, he's your only choice now. To survive, he is the intended field marshal. You know, you don't expect someone who's about to retire at old age and so on from the Senate. Suddenly he becomes the leader of this great battle, right? You know, when, let me give you a comparison. When you hear Trump say, let him, he's talking about Third Reich, right? And then not too long ago, he said that he wants Putin to do what the hell he wants to do with Western Europe or with NATO, right? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? There is not one time I listened to Trump talk And I sensed or surmised that this guy loves this country. He loves Russia. That's it. How do I know Joby loves his country? Well, he said something not too long ago, and I don't know. You can find it, and he's on the record. He can probably tell you where it is and when. He kept talking about Delaware, every time, his heart and mind, or I don't recall the exact words, right? It goes to Delaware, right? Delaware. Where's Delaware? Last I looked, it's in the United States, right? This guy who talks like that about his home state, his Delaware, right? This guy loves his country, right? I don't need to go look and try to search for his sentiments to be like, not so loving of Ayatollah, not so loving of Russia, not so loving of China. He may have alliances, but he definitely loves the United States. That's where he belongs. He made that clear. Do you remember that song by? The author is unknown. The lyrics are composed by an unknown, right? Prolong Mississippi, you make me feel like a child again, right? Sam Phillips sang it, right? It's a beautiful song, right? And who wrote the lyrics of that song loves this country, the Mississippi. That's where his soul is. That's where his heart is. That's where, it instigated him. It put him into a euphoric mode, and in order for him to, and then he said it, right? His conscious said it, right? Said those words, and then it became such a beautiful song, right? Prolong Mississippi, right? Just like I am, right? I come from Syria. Right, Western Syria. Oh, no matter what, folks, that place when I was young, where I grew up, right, still here. I can't reject it, right? And that's like Biden, talking about his Delaware. But go check Trump. What does he talk about? Russia, telling Putin do what the hell you want to do with NATO. He goes and marries people from there, and so on and so on. This guy loves Russia. He doesn't like the United States. For him, the United States is an animal farm. He's making money off. And he and his billionaire buddies and secret club, right? Stealing trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions. And this guy doesn't give a shit about the United States. And when he becomes, if right, he becomes, goes back to the White House, he is going to make sure you're owned and destroyed and sidelined and forever. And now Russia is going to boom and expand and build momentum and move west. And that's it, folks. You think this is a overactive imagination or science fiction? Look again, you guys relaxed and kick back, Germany reunited, and you don't know. You don't know those creatures from the east. You should really support Ukraine, because Ukraine is fighting your war, really. I mean, whether you're Germanic, whether you're Scandinavian, whoever you are. Even if you're Slavic, you want to get rid of this menace, this evil, dark creature that sat on your chest while you're like laying down on, right? It's like a nightmare for over a century now, right? And what they're doing to you, kill and get killed. Look at Putin. These wars, ever since he came, wars and poverty and kill and get killed and so on and so forth. And freedoms are gone. And you say something against the war, they arrest you. And if you don't vote for him, does that sound like a lover of Trump for you? Just think about it, folks. So let me tell you this, you Germanics, right? Whoever is listening to me. What if Ukraine is fighting a World War III, just like World War II in Europe, right? So that's a fully fledged war, and they lost a lot of people defending Europe, right? You're giving them weapons, yes, right? Barely, right? Barely. It's a trickle. It should be a flood, right? Why? Because they're fighting your war, right? Two, what if you assume the responsibility of their healthcare system, and then Sweden assumed the responsibility of so-and-so department of Ukraine and right? At least support them, fully on certain, as a country, functioning as a country. Support them on something, like pay, for example, for the retirees, or open new hospitals, or send doctors and really recover their medical system, their retirement system, whatever system, as a country, right? If you don't want to send soldiers, I consider that wrong. You will eventually, if Trump goes back to the White House, you will eventually have to fight them on your own border, and then you can't stop them. Why? Because Putin will have built momentum, and then you can't stop him anymore if he goes through Ukraine, right? So there's that caricature about a dam of water, and that's Ukraine, and then they flood, and then all Europe is just behind the dam, right? And the dam is about to crack, right? You know, this is reality. If Ukraine cracks, you're all going to be flooded. That's all there's to it, right? Right? And Chinese people are now, Eastern China, are going to flood your country as well, because now it's owned, it's theirs, right? Remember when the Soviet soldiers entered Berlin, they were telling Germans, you know, Berlin is ours. Berlin is ours. That's what they were saying, right? And it was theirs for a long time, you know, until those Afghan mujahideen, right, destroyed the Soviet Union, and you know they were forced them to. But hey, they forced them to relinquish that and then allow it to remember Helmut Kohl and then reunification of Germany. Oh, you, who are you? They mean to take all your Germany and Holland, and these guys don't allow you to exist there, just whoever you are. Or whatever you do and your freedoms, and they see, they look at you and they say, who the heck are those living like that? You know, like just put them back in Animal Farm. I'm not exaggerating. This is as factual as it gets. Trump is as violent as it gets, and say goodbye to your country if this guy goes to the White House. And don't believe this Third Reich and whatever. The Third Reich was one organization and movement from hell that whose active intentions and imaginations was to destroy Germany, no less, folks, no less. So don't be deceived by that. Vote for you, Joe Biden. You have no choice. Right now, you have no choice, right? That's all. You know, I pray you wake up. But know this, that's what I told you. Spread the facts, right? Spread the facts. Don't be afraid, man. Right now, it's one time in history where the fate of the United States is on the line, right? You're standing on a ledge, and then Trump is going to and push you over. That's all there's to it. That's the whole country. Blacks, whites, Aryans, whoever you are, anything in the middle, like caramel like this, right? Anything in the middle. Joby, you know, I want to tell you, Joby, the other day I found a video from what's called the Western Arabs. The Western Arabs are, you know, like from Tunisia, Algeria, and Mauritania, and Morocco, and so on, these Western Arabs. And then there's like your Middle Eastern Arabs, and then there's the Eastern Arabs, and right? And this guy and this woman, they were talking about something Jewish, right? Like how they take babies and why do they kidnap babies, and right? So, you know, I got a little bit interested. So I turned it on, and it turned out that they're talking like really about Jews and Holocaust, you know, like how they sacrifice babies and so on. I'm like scratching my head, and then suddenly they throw a bullet at you. They try to say to your mind that Trump, you know, they try to psychologically insert it in your mind while they're talking against Judaism, right? That Trump, you know, like fate is in, therefore Trump 100%. That video, that clip I watched, you know, like it's on the right. They're saying clearly, you know, and where I go, I go to the library, I go here and there, and it's promoted right on YouTube, and they therefore Trump 100%, right? They're trying to put into your mind that it's a futile attempt to fight him or shit like that. No. That's how bad things are, folks. Americans, you better spread the facts. This Trump goes back to the White House, and he made it clear, right? He made it clear what he will do, and now he's like trying to stoke this Third Reich or Reich and iron in the fire and so on. Don't be deceived, folks. Don't be deceived. There are those sharks at the bottom of the sea, and you have a stick, and you don't see them, right? And the stick that has bioluminescence tip on it, right? And keeps moving, and then some real fish, right, gets attracted, you know, because they're mesmerized, and once they come close, they're swallowed. Similar to those moths coming to the light, and then you get those burners, right, electric circuits that burn them when they get attracted to the light, or mosquitoes, or whatever it is. That's what this guy is doing, Trump. That's what, when he's talking about Aryanism and Third Reich. Not just that, he deleted it, right? Guess what? Right? Guess what? This is well designed and well studied, folks. Don't be deceived. This time is it, folks, 6 months from the United States continuing or not. There are those who are happy about Trump, you know, like, oh, they're the first one to go and suffer the wrath of him, therefore, right? He said so. He made declaration about the Constitution, what he will do to his opponents, and you know that, right? Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.